மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Contain a bit of information. So this introduction here is aimed to be quick and give you a good overview of all the lines. Now, after e4, c6, white has four main options, and they all are situated after playing d4, d5. And now either white plays knight c3 / knight d2, supporting the center with the knight, playing e5, the advanced variation, or playing captures and d5 captures, and now bishop d3, the exchange variation, or c4, the Panov Botvinnik. Now, the repertoire that I'm going to recommend here is after the knight defends the pawn on e4, we're going to capture on e4 captures, and my main recommendation will be the move bishop to f5, which is a very popular move that has really taken off even more so in the past decade, and I'm going for the very much analyzed position here, which is often reached quite quickly around move 20 here, where both sides go for opposite side castling, and oftentimes the game can even be quite complicated with aggressive attacking chess, but a lot of times the play here also transposes into an endgame where white will be trying to make use of his space and maybe this clamping pawn at h5, while black is going to be trying to either get some play on the queen side with some expansions, or try to actually target this pawn on h5 by constantly reminding white to keep a piece on it. So this was going to be my main line, and in general, the recent main line of the Caro Kann at all levels, I should say. And my suggestion, my side suggestion here will be, my alternative repertoire will be focused on the move knight to f6, which aims, after trading on f6, e takes f6, to go for this Tartakower variation where black has very easy development, and it's a variation that doesn't require a lot of memorization. And I actually am going to show some plans that are not very common actually for black and are quite aggressive, and in general I think it's a really easy, quick to learn system that can be used to great effect at the club level, as it has been by several of my students. Now, the other option white has here is, as I mentioned, e5, the advanced variation. Now, black's most common response is bishop f5, followed by e6 and c5, which is sort of like an advanced French with this bishop outside of the pawn chain. But I have played bishop f5 quite a bit when I first started playing the Caro Kann, but the move that I've always been very partial to and a big fan of is this move c5, this counterintuitive c6, c5 push. And I've played this many times, and at times I've done very well with it, and at times white players have come up with new exciting resources to make my life a little bit more difficult. Now I'll be sharing all of that here with you. The plan here is, of course, to get a French position where this bishop escapes from the pawn chain, it doesn't get locked in by e6, and the play here can actually be quite dynamic. After pawn takes c5, I will be looking at two options here, both the move e6, trying to regain the pawn as fast as possible, as well as the move knight c6, which aims to keep this bishop's diagonal open for another move in order to generate some extra pressure against white's position. And in general, the play here is quite complex and can lead to some fascinating positions we'll see, where black ends up playing a gambit, gives up a pawn, but gets very active play in return. So we'll be looking at that at the advanced variation. In the exchange variation, we will be looking at several options. The main suggestion here is queen c7, which is a move favored by many grandmasters, which aims to cut across white's development plans involving bishop f4, and we will be focused on this line quite a bit. But I also provide another option involving an early kingside fianchetto, either after knight f6 and then g6, with the idea to castle and stop any white attack, and then play this cunning idea bishop to f5, aiming to get our pawns doubled and open up the g-file and attack white. And even variations where we play an immediate g6, aiming to go bishop f5 quickly, or even play knight h6, followed to support bishop f5, and to possibly support f6 and knight f7, playing in the center with e5. So some non-standard variations to surprise your opponents with and quickly get the initiative. Now, finally, from the big four in the Panov Botvinnik attack, I will be examining several options. One of them, my main suggestion, the move that I've played quite a bit, is g6, which is kingside ideas to fianchetto the bishop, of course, and aims to get the perfect structure against an isolated pawn. Places bishop on g7 to target this potentially weak pawn that often becomes isolated or backwards. And this is a pretty dynamic line, which the main variation continues. If white knows what he's doing, he will pressure the center. And it's actually sort of a gambit where white gets an isolated doubled extra pawn, and black will be trying to regain this pawn and then slowly but surely win both pawns. So that is my main suggestion, but I will also focus on knight c6, which is a sound developing move. And here I'm going to be showing you some surprising options that haven't been played that many times, but I've used with some success, and actually I should say with great success when I was playing them back when I was around master level. One of these variations after the popular knight f3 is to play bishop e6, this funny looking move. The idea is to clarify white's intentions in the center, and once white plays c5, is the most popular option, we will play g6, and again fianchetto this bishop to attack the center, but this time we don't have to worry about our pawn being under pressure. So that's an interesting line that we'll be sharing with you. And after the more aggressive move bishop g5, we're going to fight fire with fire and reply with the rare aggressive move knight e4, which aims for very dynamic play after captures d5, knight e5. This is the position that is reached almost always when this variation is played. Black is going to try to use this pawn on e4 and this knight on e5, and this slightly weakened king that can be hit by some queen maneuvers. Black is going to try to play very aggressively here, at times sacrificing a pawn or two in order to develop quickly and put white on the back foot. So an interesting variation, very exciting variation here that I would definitely recommend as a surprise weapon. So those are the big four variations we will examine. We will also, of course, be covering openings like the two knights defense, which is quite popular as a secondary option, and of course other lines like the fantasy variation, and even the less popular but still reasonable to know idea of playing King's Indian attack. And against all of these variations, I'm going to be giving you very practical ideas. I believe the whole repertoire is very practical. It's based on ideas that I've used and my students have used, and I've really tried to incorporate this experience in this presentation. And I'm going to my goal here is going to be to give you as much information as you need, not really overload you with a bunch of variations you will never see. I can almost guarantee that everything I will show you here, if you play the Kann, you will certainly be able to apply this knowledge to your games. And well, with that being said, we're going to jump into specifics here, and I hope you enjoy and find a suitable weapon for you.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.